What's up, everyone, and welcome to gaming-related activities.
There we go. Took us 5 minutes to get that out.
Let's fucking go.
Right, so do we just jump straight in or?
We can. Oh yeah, want to do a background?
Oh, okay, so you go first.
Okay. So for my background, I wouldn't say that I'm like good at any specific type of game. I would say I'm average at a lot of a broad sense of games. I think my favorite type of games would probably be first-person shooters and MMOs, but I'll play pretty much everything. I don't think there's any bad type of game or any bad type of genre of game. It's just if it's a good game, it's a good game. I think some of my favorite games are probably God of War for story, World of Warcraft for MMO, Death Stranding also for story. I like to dip in fighting games like Tekken. Been playing a lot of fighting games recently. I'll play some Siege for first-person shooter, Overwatch, even though I have a lot of opinions on Overwatch, but I'll save those for another day. Dead by Daylight I like to play, which I think is the first topic. But yeah, that's pretty much my background.
I'm the complete opposite. I'm a monster on every game I touch.
Shut
What?
up! Fuck up!
So, peaked Silver 3, Rainbow. Peaked Red Ranks, Tekken. I only play non-competitive games now. Like RimWorld, Wandering Village, mainly sim games actually. My favourite franchise is Pikmin, the Pikmin franchise, or Banjo-Kazooie, which is a dead, buried, and forgotten franchise now because of that stupid fucking car game. So platformers, I know quite a lot about, and I'm in the middle of playing the League of Legends Convergence story, which is the game based around Echo. I'm also quite into League. The story, the world, characters. Unfortunately, I used to be into the game and put a lot of money into it. And fighting games I'll touch rarely actually, but I've gotten into Tekken 8 recently, and that kind of took over for a little bit. And that's pretty much it. I'm just a Nintendo fanboy really, with the occasional sim game that takes over my life. And I have played a fair bit of Dead by Daylight, which is, our first topic, which was, what are your thoughts on the current state of Dead by Daylight?
Ooh. So I've been playing Dead by Daylight for, I'd say, quite a while, since I think 2017, which I think is a year after it came out. I've taken a lot of breaks, obviously. For me, Dead by Daylight is not a game that you can just play a lot. But I do like the game. I'm a Survivor main, mostly, but I do play Killer. The current state of it, I think it's in a pretty good state. The adrenaline nerf just came in, which is a very interesting choice. I don't think adrenaline needed to be nerfed. I think a lot of the community also has that sentiment.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen the adrenaline nerf?
No, what is it?
It's so they decrease the haste that you get from it from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, and it doesn't hold anymore. So I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe how it works is it will go off immediately. Whether you're on hook, it will go off. Whether you are on the floor, it will go off. I think that's what I did before. But it doesn't hold. So you can't, like, pause it. Which, it's not the worst. It's not the worst nerf in the world. It's just that it kind of wasn't needed. I feel like adrenaline was a good perk that rewarded good survivor play. You get all 5 gens done, you get a health boost, and you get a speed boost. I think that was a pretty good balanced perk. I feel like they're just kind of a lot of the perks on the top side are getting nerfed, whereas a lot of the perks on the bottom side, like there's some really bad perks in the game, but they're just not being touched. There's a lot of perks that I feel can get up to that mid level. Instead of bringing all the high ones down, bring the low ones up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think I can understand why they nerfed Adrenaline. Because if you've got all 5 gens done anyway, the killer's now most likely gonna lose. So if they are in a chase, to almost guarantee a loss with that one guy they're chasing, because they heal, they get that speed boost, and they can now have a way out. I get the nerf, but at the same time, like you said, it is also taking away skilled play from the survivor to know when the gen's gonna pop, or to just play out for that extra time so you can take that extra hit.
Yeah, I can understand what you mean, but I don't think that the end game collapse is the be all end all for Killer. Because killers also have perks like No Way Out. Or they also have perks like Blood Warden, or things like that, that allows them to prolong the end game collapse to have their time, I guess. There are like entire builds based around getting to endgame collapse and then just waiting it out, kind of. Not really waiting it out, but killing a lot of the people at endgame collapse.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are counterplays against it. I know that when I play, I go around Blood Warden a lot. You open the door to 99. You don't actually open it, so you don't trigger endgame collapse. And then someone gets hooked, then you open the door, so that the door's not open when someone gets hooked, so that Blood Warden can't activate. There is obviously counterplay like that. But for things like No Way Out, there is no counterplay, really. You just kind of... You're opening the door for a long-ass time. And I think Adrenaline was a fine perk for the pure fact that it also doesn't do anything for the 5 gens. It only triggers at endgame collapse. So for the entire game, you're missing a perk slot, kind of. That perk slot could be taken with something else, like a gen perk or a anti-regression perk or something, right? But you're choosing to take Adrenaline to get to that endgame collapse. And sometimes you don't even get to endgame collapse. It just never triggers because, you die on Gen 3 or whatever. So I feel like it's a good trade-off. You go 5 gens with no perk, you do well, good survivor play, gets you to the end game, you get that adrenaline trigger, and then you may even escape because of it. Because as you said, if you're in a chase in endgame collapse, and you get that adrenaline pop, you get your health state and you get a speed boost. That pretty much guarantees you the chase there. If you're already getting chased for like a minute, 2 minutes before then, and then you get that's prolonged it by another like 3-4 minutes. So yeah, I feel like it's got its drawbacks and it's got a big pro.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty balanced.
I like the change they did with how they've stopped killers from camping, with the bar where you can get yourself off the hook if the killer's just hanging around you. That's great.
Camping, yeah.
But I also feel like for a game where you're meant to be playing the killer hunting down the survivors, when I'm playing killer now, I feel terrified of the survivors. You've got perks like I think it's Leon's, where you can drop a flashbang. You've got the one where they can sit in the locker, jump out and stun you. You've got the one where they can see pallets and everything through the wall, so they know which one's not down, so they can lead you to it, stun you with that. Obviously, you can outplay the pallet one, but it just makes me. I get it. You've got to be more aware of your surroundings, not to pick up a survivor in case anyone's rocking the Leon perk to flashbang you, or they've got a torch or anything. But a lot of the times, it's just like the locker one. It's just like you just get stunned mid chase, and you're like, oh, well, I've got to reset now. Especially depending on the killer you're playing, and also the amount of cheaters that I've come up against recently in that game's crazy.
Cheaters are a very big problem in Dead by Daylight. Yeah.
Yeah, just teleporting around the place, and it's just like they're not even hiding it. It's just just really off-putting. I also don't like the amount of good perks that are locked behind paid characters, like licensed ones, or like say is it the Trickster, who's got the one where it blocks the survivors from getting out. Is that the Trickster? Once they open the gate, is that the Tricksters, or is that Pinheads, or?
Are you talking about Blood Warden?
Yeah,
that's Freddy.
That's Freddy's.
Freddy's.
Like the black, the entity blocks off the exit.
Yes.
Yeah, like that. You have to buy Freddy to get that, or just Pinheads to do like generator regression stuff like that. The fact you've got to put money in to get it, or play the game a shitload, and hopefully it comes up in that shop where you get 4 perks a day. There's a lot of RNG in that, and there's so many perks in the game that the likelihood of you getting the one you want is very low. Yeah,
definitely. They have done a little bit about that by putting things in bundles. So I think the start of this year, they put a lot of the old killers and stuff into bundles, and then you just buy the bundle, you get like 5 killers or something, or 5 chapters, sorry, so you get the killers and the survivors. So the bundles do help, but yeah, if you don't want to buy the DLCs and you just want to go through the Shrine of Secrets, which I have a friend that does that, and I can tell that it's miserable. Like, trying to get a perk, like, you don't really wait for a perk that you want because you physically can't. You can't, like, want a perk and then just hope it comes in. You've just kind of got to deal with what the shrine is. You know, so like you check the shrine, it's like, oh, it's got this today. I could make use out of that, so then you buy it. You don't like wait until there's a perk that you want, because I don't know how it fully works, but I feel like it just could never come up, because 4 perks a week with the amount of chapters that are in the game so far, that must be miserable.
Yeah. You got any other thoughts on the state of it at the moment?
I do. Specifically to balancing, I can feel that the devs probably have a hard time, because playing solo queue and like solo queue Survivor versus a Swift or a Survivor Friends, it's 2 completely different games. Playing with a Survivor Friends makes the game infinitely easier. Now, my group of friends is not the best, but even then, it is a bit of an easier time. Whereas with solo queue, that you have no communication, you have the UI elements now that they put in, where you can see people doing a gen or you see people healing. I think that's really good, but I feel like there just needs to be more communication in solo queue. In Dead by Daylight Mobile, they have like a little wheel that you have general communication, like, I'm going to do this gen, or I'm coming to unhook you, or I'm going to loop him, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
They have quick communication that I feel like the main game needs. It's just some type of thing in solo queue that helps just not get screwed a lot, because I feel like when you queue into a solo queue game, you're just kind of throwing dice. You're throwing a lottery in if your teammates are good, or if you just get chased the entire game, which obviously can happen with a Swift. But if you get chased in a Swift, you have people that can like take a hit for you, which in a solo queue can happen, but rarely. Some solo queue teammates don't even know you're getting chased. You know, like just the difference between solo queue and Survivor Friends is almost two completely different games, and trying to balance the game around both of those things, I can see is probably a really hard task.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most devs are having that issue though. Like say, like a League of Legends for an example, solo queue, flex, and professional play. They all have to balance for each one of them, and that's near impossible because when you've got a full 5-man cooperating together, that's way different to two maximum cooperating, and then that 5-man's way different to a professional 5-man who play the game non-stop day in day out, knowing the best strategies. So I think most games where you can play as a full group or on your own, they're gonna have a troublesome time balancing it.
That is a very good point, but that you brought up League of Legends is actually a good thing as well, because they have managed to make it like the game balance can probably suffer because of it, the items, the abilities, that type of stuff. But the actual user experience, I feel, is a bit I wouldn't say fixed, but the fact that you have different role queues, role selects.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, you have ranked solo duo, which is 2 max, and then you have ranked flex, which is 5-man. And it kind of fixes that problem where if you just want to play with a friend, you go into ranked solo duo, you know there's not going to be another 5-man.
Yeah.
I think in a game like Siege, like I think we've just had today and yesterday, we're a 2-man, but we get put in with 3-man, or we can get put in with like a 4 or 5-man on the other team, right?
Yeah.
It's like the ranked solo duo queue itself being separate from ranked flex kind of fixes the user experience side of that, which you can't really do in Dead by Daylight. I don't think having. I mean, maybe you could have a 4-man queue, but what killer in the right mind is going to queue up for a Swift game?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, true. So, what about your opinions on the new or old licensed killers and Survivor so far?
Some of the licenses completely out of left field. Specifically the Silent Hill one. Oh
Yeah.
my god, that was not like that was not expected at all. I'll talk more about that when we get to Silent Hill.
Yeah.
But man, some of the licenses I think they've done really well with. Myers, I think, is a good killer. Meta-wise, no. Meta-wise, he's not a good killer. But I mean, not to go back to the state again, but there's just good killers and then bad killers. Like the good killers, Nurse, Blight, Wesker.
Yeah, rushdown
Bad
killers.
like Trapper and Myers and things like that. They're just the killers are just not good. You play them because they're your favorite serial killer, right? People love the Myers movies, that you're going to play Myers.
Yeah.
People love the Chucky movies, you're going to play Chucky. Yeah, like you, for example, you love the Alien movies, you're going to play Xenomorph.
Yeah.
Even if they're a good killer or not, which is good. But again, as a Survivor main, a lot of the time you just go up against the same killer, and it's not very fun at times.
Yeah, I get that. Who's your main for Survivor? Who's your favourite Survivor they've added?
Cheryl.
Oh, okay.
Cheryl Mason, which is no surprise because it's got Cheryl as the base skin, obviously. It's got one of the Silent Hill 3 bonus costumes, which I think is really good. Then it has James Sunderland from Silent Hill 2 as a costume, and it's got Lisa Garland from Silent Hill 1 as a costume.
Okay.
It is such a good, like, embodiment of all of the Silent Hill games, or all of the good ones, shall I say.
Mm.
And yeah, she's my favorite survivor, hands down.
What about your favorite like chapter? So as a package.
Ooh. As a package, I mean, I don't want to say Silent Hill again, but Pyramid Head. But no, I mean, taking Silent Hill out of it, I think Resident Evil's Chapter 2, which brought Wesker in.
Okay.
Which I believe also brought in Ada and what's her name? Rebecca.
Yes.
That was also a really good chapter, I think. And they've been doing really well with the Resident Evil chapters, having 2 of them now.
Yeah, do you reckon there'll be a third?
I hope so. I don't know if there will be, but I would certainly hope so.
If there was, who do you want for it? For the Resident Evil one?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a tiny bit disappointed when it was Nemesis instead of Mr. X for the first one. But I can understand why they did it, and Resident Evil 3 was obviously the more recent game at that time.
Yeah.
Seeing a Mr. X, I think, would be really cool. Although, with Nemesis already in the game, I feel like it would be a little diminished. I think my vote would have to be Jack Baker.
Yeah, that's where mine would have went to. Or any Carl from Resi 8 could have some interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What about Survivor?
Ooh. I mean, you could say Ethan, but it would be kind of hard to put him in with him being faceless and all. I mean, Leon's already in, Ada's already in, Claire's already in, Rebecca's already in. Grace is already in. I don't know. I'd probably have to say Ethan, but with him being faceless, it would be quite hard.
Yeah, it'd be near impossible. As much as I'd love that as well.
Yeah, they would have to reveal his face.
Map?
And I mean, Jack Baker and Ethan as a chapter.
We could have
Come on,
Jack and Mia, I guess.
Jack and who? Mia.
Mia. Ethan's wife.
Mia. Oh, true. Could have Mia. Although...
Or Rose.
I think Rose would be better, because Mia doesn't necessarily do much within the games. The first one, she's just kind of kidnapped and then, like, used.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, she's barely even there anyway. She's, like, at the start of the game, and then that's it.
Yeah, true.
And then at the end, so... Yeah. I would say Rose over Mia, in my opinion.
For the Chapter 3?
For Chapter 3 map. Oh, I would love... I don't know if it would work. Same as RPD, whereas RPD isn't a very good map.
Oh, you don't
I feel
like
like
RPD?
a lot of the community can agree on it. It's not the best. I'm not saying it's, like, terrible. I'm just saying it's not one of the best maps in context of Dead by Daylight.
Okay.
Because in the context of where the gens are, in the context of loops, and in the context of just how Dead by Daylight works as a mechanical game, it's not the best map to go on. But I'm not saying it's the worst either. It's fine. It's whatever. But along the same vein, I feel, would probably be the Resident Evil 7 house.
Yes, that's what I was going to say as well. Yeah,
It is
they're like
such a good place to loop. I think.
Mix that with like the garden or the plantation where you find Margaret.
Yeah. There could be like secrets, and like you can go down into the basement as well.
Yeah.
And, where you have the first fight with Jack and he gets his like dual chainsaws.
Oh yeah.
That like area. I think that would be pretty sick to go into.
Yeah, that'd be very good. But in you saying the Silent Hill's the best, your favourite one other than Resi 2's, was it?
Yeah. Resident Evil Chapter 2, yeah.
What one had the best trailer?
Ooh. I think would be Resident Evil Chapter 1. Where Nemesis beats the shit out of Meg.
Oh, yeah.
That was a funny chapter. Or a funny trailer, sorry.
Mine's probably Silent Hills. It was so out of left field.
It was.
And that's the first time
The
seeing.
fact that they got the license for that is absolutely insane. I didn't think Konami would do it. I'm gonna be honest.
No, and that's the first time seeing Pyramid Head in ages, wasn't it?
Now, I have opinions on it that they brought Pyramid Head with Cheryl, which I don't know. But I mean, they kind of fixed it with having James as a skin for Cheryl, so whatever. But I'm a very big Silent Hill fanatic, and the having Pyramid Head come in with Cheryl was weird, rather than just having him come with James to start with, and then have a Cheryl skin maybe. But I mean, I'm not going to nitpick about that.
What was your least favourite chapter, Sarah?
Least favorite chapter.
Yeah. Where it came out, you hated the map, hated the survivor, hated the killer, or really just disliked them in general.
Let me think. I mean, it's an easy pick, but I'd probably have to say Tools of Torment, which brought in the Skull Merchant. When she came in, it was ridiculous how stupid the game became. Because she was just I don't know. The mechanics of her kit just lent into the most boring games you could ever play.
Yeah.
And Dead by Daylight, the games themselves are not very long. You could get a Dead by Daylight game done within like 30 minutes, I would say. But oh my god, the Tools of Torment bringing in the Skull Merchant, games went up to like 50 minutes.
Oh god.
And it was not fun.
I don't think
it
I've
was
versed
not
her
fun at all.
or played her. So I'm clueless on what she does.
They have changed her now, but OG, what she used to do was you could put drones around the map, which she still has, but basically what people would do was put drones on a 3-gen.
Yeah.
And then that drone would tell you whenever someone's there. It would tell you whenever someone's at that gen. So then you would just go to the gen, chase them off it. I think she also had something where if you were in the drone long enough, it would just hurt you. It would just wound you anyway, which I believe was an add-on. And she would just patrol her 3 drones on those 3 gens, and you would not be able to do them. Okay. It was just, that was it. So either you had a very coordinated survivor friends, or you were just dead. You couldn't really do much.
Okay.
In solo queue, it was the death. In solo queue, there was basically nothing you could do.
I'd say I'll go with mine quickly. My favourite chapter, obviously, Alien one with the Stroma and Xenomorph Ripley.
Yes, sir.
My least favourite one, and it's kind of a cop out. I don't know if it count. I don't think it's a chapter, but character that should have been a chapter. Leatherface.
Ooh, that's an old one.
Yeah, the fact we didn't get the Bubba's house or the when a house in the second one. It was the like underground bit.
Yeah.
The fact we didn't get either of them was depressing. We didn't get a survivor. It was quite sad. I also really like the Saw chapter because I love the Saw franchise as well, and the pig is dog shit, but she's cool.
I mean, she's been getting buffed recently. I mean, it's become a joke that like if something's overpowered, just nerf pig. But she did get buffed recently. However, pig's gameplay, in my opinion, is not very fun. You go down, you get a trap on your head. Cool. You are now going to the traps for the next like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, the first trap takes your trap off. Good stuff. You go to a gen, or you can go to 4 traps in total, which I think it's 4 traps now. It's a maximum of 4 traps,
Okay.
whereas before I don't think it was. I think before you could go to like all 5, and now it's 4. So you could be wandering around the map trying to get this trap off you for 4 traps, while it's just a delay. That's all it is. It just delays the game, and I get it. Like, I'm not calling it the worst power. I do get it, but I just don't think it's very fun to play with.
Yeah, that's fair. Who's your favorite killer to play?
My favorite killer to play, it obviously was Pyramid Head,
Yeah.
but his gameplay itself wasn't really for me. Having to do the stab into the floor and then the ranged attack, I was really bad at it. Like, I was really bad at it. So I switched to Wesker when he came out.
Yeah, he's great. I enjoy playing him as well.
Yeah, I do love Wesker, but a lot of his skill gap comes from hugging tech. I think it's called hug tech, where you use your power and you like slide across a wall or slide across a car or something, and you get them around the corner. And it's a good like mechanic to separate amateur Weskers with skilled Weskers. I think is a fine mechanic. I'm not saying to like take it at the game or anything.
Yeah.
Like, not that much. Having to learn that for my favorite killer is not very appealing. I just play him normally, which diminishes kind of the rank that I can really get to. I'm sure that's possible, just probably not for me.
Yeah.
As a non-killer main, and only playing it every so often, probably not for me.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. No, you did cut out in the middle bit there, but I got what I was saying. It was
Okay.
just you have to pretty much play a lot of Wesker to be able to get the mechanics and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah. So you're a survivor main, as you've said.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Oh, so I do love playing killer, but it feels stressful. As playing as a killer, it feels like it's on your back. You have to do the game, which obviously makes sense. You're 1v4, but as a survivor, I feel like it's more chill. And it's like, if I do bad, there's 3 others that can make up for me. So, and I wouldn't say I'm the worst at the game. I'm fine at looping. I can loop for maybe a few minutes. So I can do my part, right? But as a killer, I just don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't feel like I'm at that skill level where I can jump into a match and tune out the game. I can't. I have to be focused on hearing the survivors, on the scratch marks, which I'm really bad at. Like, trying to follow scratch marks when they're so like wide apart.
Yeah.
I lose survivors very quickly. So yeah, playing killer feels more stressful. So that's why I tend genuinely gravitate towards survivor and just playing survivor and chilling as survivor, even though it's solo queue, which solo queue in and of itself is stressful, but not stressful as killer, in my opinion.
It's kind of backwards, but I do get what you're saying. It's backwards in the sense of how playing survivors chilling, and then playing killer stressful, when that should be completely backwards, where the playing as the killer should be like the chill version.
That is a very good point, but as a killer, I feel like you don't know who you're going to go against, and if you playing against a solo queue again, solo queue not the best. Playing against a solo queue, you could probably chill. You could probably just tune out.
Right off.
Yeah, A few gens might get done. You might even get to end game collapse, but you'll probably get a 4K. Whereas you get some of those games where they're body blocking for each other, they're flashlight saving each other. As you said, you could get the flashbangs and just flashbang all the time, and like they take hits for each other all the time, and like I get it, teamwork part of the game. It's good survivor skill. I'm all for it, but just as a killer, it is stressful. It is hard to go against. It is frustrating at times, and it's just it's not it for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I tend to think the opposite. I think playing Survivor solo queue is mainly what I played. Is just a horrible experience.
Really?
You'll get tunneled. You'll get left on hook. You'll get baited by your own team. They'll drop pallets on you if you're with one. They won't take a hit for you when they clearly can. And then playing as killer is just more relaxing. I just have to listen to sound cues and just roam around as alien. That's pretty much it. And I just like, I don't know, being in the chasing someone's more thrilling than being chased. That's pretty much it for my experience. When I do play Survivor, I play Bill. Left 4 Dead.
Yes, sir.
And I'm still waiting for a Left 4 Dead killer. Left 4
Dead killer would be really good. What killer though?
I'd happily take a skin. Like the smoker for the Death Slinger.
True.
Just spits out his tongue instead of shoots the gun.
That would be really cool. Or I think it would be really funny to see what is it, the bloater? Or Boomer.
Yeah, Boomer.
Boomer for clown.
That'd be great. Yeah, something like that.
That would be hilarious.
The witch could be the nurse. There's tons they could do, but at this point it's over.
Yeah, no, it's gone now.
What about killer, or what's, other than the Resident Evil ones, what's a killer you want to see in the future?
I mean, I don't want to be that 12-year-old, but I think a Five Nights at Freddy's killer would be pretty cool. Having like Springtrap or something come into the game, I think would be really cool. But an actual horror icon,
I'd say Pennywise. Long overdue.
I would probably have to agree with Pennywise. I think the ones that I did want are already in. Like Myers, I thought would be really cool. He's in.
Predator would be cool.
Chucky would have been cool. He's in. Predator would be cool.
But he had his own game and that flopped.
Unlucky.
But Jason Voorhees, same issue.
Jason, yeah, but oh my god, the lawsuits around Jason is crazy.
But yeah, FNAF mascot could be good, especially with the movie.
I mean, the movie was something.
Yeah, so that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
I think we have two contrasting opinions on that. Then, I guess, what's your favourite map in the game?
My favourite map... Ooh. Now, I wouldn't say I have a favourite map of the game. Just to go back to balancing a little bit. I think that there are maps that are killer-sided, there are maps that are survivor-sided. So, when I go into a map, I like certain maps, but I wouldn't say any of them are my favorite. I think the ones that I like are RPD. I do like RPD, even though the mechanics are kind of iffy. I like the game, and I like the Silent Hill one, obviously.
Indoor maps,
the horse. Yes. I think my favorites are indoor maps, which is, I think, a very unpopular opinion. I don't think people like indoor maps that much. But I do like my indoor maps. Outdoor maps are good too. They're a lot more freeing, a lot more ways to loop and stuff like that. But aesthetically and like gameplay, yeah, they're not the best. But if you push gameplay down a little bit and just think of aesthetics and the mood and stuff like that, the Silent Hill School and the RPD are probably my favorites. Yeah.
Okay. I'd say Nostromo, obviously.
Nostromo was good.
The castle map. I'm not sure what it's called yet.
Ooh, the night map.
Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
one's great.
That has a great aesthetic, yeah, with the castle in the distance.
What was the one that came out with Terry Bugman, Master of Cameras?
Oh, it's the bug.
It's like on the other alien planet, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't like that map that much.
I
I'm
do.
gonna be honest. I don't. It That map actually just came out when I came back to the game,
Mm.
and I was very confused playing
What do you
it.
think of
It's
him
not
as a
that
killer?
confusing of a map, but the Singularity.
Yeah, Terry.
I think he's cool, Terry. Yeah, I think he's cool. I think he's a good idea for a killer. He's just annoying to go against sometimes because if you don't have one of those EMP devices to get rid of his cameras, he's just going to be staring at you.
Yeah, and then he can teleport to you, can't
When
he?
he gets that teleport and he cannot be stunned, it feels pretty hopeless.
Yeah. He just dodged the camera.
He just dodged the camera, yeah. Like, yeah, you can't exactly dodge the camera when they're on parts of the gens, which most people just put it on like the top of a tree on a gen.
Yeah.
It's just looking at the gen, and you have to EMP it, but you don't want to waste a bunch of EMPs on just the cameras themselves.
Yeah.
And especially in solo queue, where people are just wasting EMPs left and right. It's tough. He's hard to go against sometimes.
And I guess I also really like the Silent Hill map, was it? What's the name of it?
Bad Am Preschool?
Yeah.
No, that's another one.
No, that's the
Yeah,
Freddy
that's the
Krueger
DVD
map,
one.
isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Or was it the Michael map? The one in the school, either way.
Yeah.
Which leads into the revival of Silent Hill.
I hope you have 2 hours.
Yeah, I do. Do you reckon it should be revived?
So, if you asked me that same question a year ago, I would say yes, 100%. I think it should come back. If you're asking me that now, today, no. I think allow it. Went to Western audiences.
Repeat that, please.
It was already about Western audiences, but when it went to Western devs, should I say? Sorry. When it got put in. Sorry?
Yeah, you got out then.
Oh, sorry. When it got put into Western devs, Western game publishers, right?
Yeah.
That's when it went downhill. Starting with, I think it's called Homecoming.
The one on the 360, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's 2 on the 360. There's Homecoming and there's Downpour. I think Homecoming was the one after 4, if I remember. It's Silent Hill 5, technically. And so, I mean, some people can say that it went downhill in Silent Hill 4, which I can definitely see your points and I can agree to a certain extent. But I feel like Silent Hill 4 was the last true one that had meaning behind a lot of its stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas Silent Hill Homecoming, it did have meaning, don't get me wrong. It's definitely not one of the worst. I feel like Downpour is the worst. But Homecoming, still, the combat is atrocious. The combat, like, having him be a military dude was not it. Put him in some other part of the military. Or if you really wanted him to be in military, yeah, put him in have him be a medic. I don't know. The flourishes that you can do in the game with the combat, the finishing moves, all that type of stuff was not it. It wasn't. It was not Silent Hill. Silent Hill 1 to 4, the combat was always janky. Silent Hill 4, in my opinion, has like some of the jankiest combat because of the power up meter, which confused me. But apart from that, it was always supposed to be janky combat. And Homecoming having flourishing moves and stuff like that was not it.
What did you think of Silent Hill: The Short Message.
I haven't played it yet.
You trying to ignore it or just
I'm
waiting?
not trying to ignore it. I do have it downloaded on my PS5. I'm just scared to play it,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I have been really scarred about the TV show that they did. I can't remember what it's called, but they did a TV show where like the players could choose the outcome, and it was a monetization hellhole, and you could buy points to vote and things
Okay.
like that. It was horrendous. In my opinion, one of the worst things that ever came out of Silent Hill as a series.
Oh god.
I hate it, and I was really looking forward. I wasn't really looking forward to the TV show. I'm really looking forward to Silent Hill F and Silent Hill 2 remake. Now, the Silent Hill 2 remake, the purpose of the question, should it be revived? Silent Hill 2 was such a masterpiece. It really did define kind of the horror genre in video games, or the psychological horror genre, should I say. And remaking it is a daunting task. Remaking something like that is a very hard task to do. And the people that they picked for it, Bloober Team, they're not the worst. Like, I think they're a good company. Like, yeah, they've had some, not so good games. I enjoyed the medium for what it was, which was a Silent Hill inspiration. It obviously didn't hit the nail with a lot of its imagery and with a lot of its background kind of lore telling, but gameplay and all that stuff, it wasn't bad. I'm not going to call it a bad game. It missed the mark on a lot of things. And I don't know if those same people can remake Silent Hill 2 in the light that I think Silent Hill 2 deserves.
So you're holding to the highest standard as the series can go.
In my opinion, Silent Hill 2 is the best one.
Yeah. So from the trailers, what's your thoughts on it? Because it looks like an action game. I haven't played the Silent Hill franchise, so.
Back in the day, Silent Hill 2 itself, the OG, also had an action trailer. It also had a combat trailer. So, seeing a combat trailer, not the worst.
Okay.
Now, the trailer itself, I saw a lot of opinions on it, saying that the combat didn't look great and things like that. In my opinion, that's not bad. It is supposed to be a clunky game. The combat is supposed to be clunky. You are James Sunderland, a normal guy, just trying to find his wife. And so the bad combat in itself is not a red flag for me. What is a red flag is the kind of jankiness of the animations, I guess, or like the jankiness of the game in itself. I don't really know how to explain it, but to give the trailer props, the atmosphere is phenomenal. Having to walk around Silent Hill 2 in the fog with like a siren going off or something, or just like the footsteps in the distance of the fog and things like that, phenomenal. Absolute phenomenal atmosphere. And that is kind of what Silent Hill is about, atmosphere. That is why it's a psychological horror. That you don't know what's going to come out the fog. You don't know what the monsters are. They just look like amalgamations of just people or things or like... And obviously, as you get further into the game, you find meaning in those designs.
Yeah.
And the monster design, obviously, phenomenal in 2. The remake, I think, also nailed the monster design, in my opinion. I don't know if that's a controversial one or not, but the monster design in the 2 remake was also pretty good. The nurses looked good. Pyramid Head looks great. Well, I'm not going to say phenomenal, but he looks great. And again, the atmosphere is good. Just the animations and the stuff look a little janky. Combat, not a big red flag for me.
So what's the other one called? Ascension or F or
F.
F?
F is supposed to be the new one in the series. It's
Yeah.
supposed to bring the Silent Hill series forward. It's the new game.
Okay. What's F? What's Ascension?
Ascension, I believe. No, there's not a lot on it, but I believe it is a side-ish game.
Okay.
And no one really knows a lot about it. But I have very, very high hopes in Ascension. Wait,
F. You mean F?
no, sorry. Ascension is the TV show. It's absolute dog shit. Don't watch it.
Okay.
I was talking about Townfall. Sorry, Townfall.
So there's a lot of Silent Hill content coming out.
Yes. So
Townfall.
yeah, Townfall is a different one.
Survival game.
I'll get into Townfall in a minute.
Okay.
But
We're saying on F for now.
I want to stay on Ascension for a second.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I want to stay on the release or the announcements that they did.
Okay.
So I think it was 2022 or 2021 where they did all of these announcements.
Wasn't it? Oh wait, yeah. When I was still in uni, it might have been Silent Hill 2 remake. It was announced. No, well, announced in 2001.
No, that was the OG game.
Yeah. 2023? No, it's definitely
It
before
wasn't
then.
23.
Yeah, it's definitely
No, it was
before,
before then.
then. I can't find the original. Oh, 2022. There it is.
Yeah, okay.
It was at the
2022.
Game Awards, was it?
Yes, it was. I was very excited.
I'm sorry.
But I was also worried. I was also concerned because think about it, on that day of announcements, you have heard nothing of Silent Hill. Apart from the Dead by Daylight chapter, there has been nothing on Silent Hill since Downpour, which I believe Downpour was 2013, around about.
2012.
2012, sorry. Yeah, Downpour was 2012, and then nothing. And then the Dead by Daylight chapter, and then nothing. And then all of a sudden, here's a TV show, here's 2 movies, and here's 3 games. Sorry, 2 games.
Yeah.
No, 3 games. It was 3 games. That was concerning. Now, it's exciting, don't get me wrong. It's extremely exciting. More Silent Hill, don't get me wrong. But that amount of announcements, they clearly see that Silent Hill was a sought-after series, and they brought it back extremely hard. Ascension, I don't think anyone was looking forward to Ascension. Everyone knew it was going to be a flop, and it was. It was terrible. Silent Hill Townfall is one of my most excited ones, personally. Silent Hill F is the new one that goes forward. The trailer looked really good. The fact that it's based in China, I believe, or based in Asia, is an interesting choice. Bringing Silent Hill, the town, into Asia, or like the power itself. That's going to be interesting to see what they do with.
Rural Japan in the 1960s, apparently.
Rural Japan. In 60s? Okay, interesting. Very interesting. So, I am excited for that. And then, obviously, the Silent Hill 2 remake. I think the Silent Hill 2 remake is going to be a good game. I think if you go into it looking for, I want to be James, I want to explore Silent Hill, and I want to meet these creatures, right? Like, because it's third person, it's over the shoulder. I think it's going to put you more into Silent Hill and into the psyche of James than the original did, because of the fixed camera. But how they portray the game, and they've already showed that they're changing things about the game, which, I don't know about that. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to see what they do with it, and I hope it's good. It's not going to be as good as the OG. I know for a fact it's not going to be as good as the OG.
Do you reckon that's a nostalgia thing?
I don't. I think that Silent Hill 2 was lightning in a bottle. I think that, and mistake or not, I think that Silent Hill 2, mistakes or not, was really good in what they did with the, sorry, hang on.
I'll quickly drop my thoughts on it all. I have no clue about any of the games. F was an interesting looking trailer with the flowers coming out of the woman. I think it was that one. That was very interesting. Yeah, they're like weird flower zombie woman where she just starts blooming flowers, her hair turns into flowers, and you can only see her face at the end of it. That was pretty cool. This was the first time I've heard of Townfall. Let's quickly look.
Sorry, I'm back.
Oh, I was just running through my thoughts.
Yeah, keep going.
Never heard of Townfall before, so I'll hear what his thoughts are on it. And the 2 remake looks like I've seen 2. I've watched someone play through 2, and it doesn't look like it's aiming to be what people want it to be, but that might be an okay thing. People just wanted the old game, but upgraded graphics. Probably it was fixed camera, weren't it?
Yes.
Yeah, people would have wanted that, but then I reckon people would have got it and still cried about it. So the fact they're trying something different, they're trying a different whole approach, is interesting. Whether it works or not is a different thing entirely. It's like if they made third person. In fact, no, they made Resi 2 third person. I'm sure people did not like the idea to begin with. There's like it's fixed camera only. It came out, everyone loved it. So maybe the same can happen for Silent Hill. Maybe that's what they saw. Maybe they saw Resi 2 and 3 Remake have that effect. And they thought, oh, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can make Silent Hill feel more alive with being third person in a well-loved game. That's just my thoughts. Like I said, I haven't played it.
Fair enough. So wait, you think that going away from the original is a good thing?
I think it's a risky thing that could pay off well, because if they just remade it being fixed cameras, people would have found faults. They would have went like, oh, it's, I don't know, not different enough. There's always something to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no getting away with it because it's such a classic. Like, people still complain about Resi 2 Remake. They're like, it should still be fixed camera. No, I think, I think 2 Remake's perfectly great. Like, if a franchise like this, that's spanned over so many years, there's always going to be conflicting opinions. I mean, this franchise is older than me. And it's still going into this year. Is it this year or next year the games are releasing? One's released this year, hasn't it? The Konami one.
It is rumored to believe that Silent Hill 2 Remake is coming out this year.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
So to change its roots, I'm all for it. And if they wanted to do a remake with fixed cameras being the exact same, sure, that's perfectly fine as well. But fixed cameras, I don't feel like have a place anymore, which is a very unpopular opinion. I hate them. I see the charm when I'm playing an old game with them. But if I spent £60 now on a game that's like, here's your fixed cameras for a 10-hour game, no, I couldn't.
Interesting. Okay. So, to contrast your opinion, I think that sticking to its roots is a good thing.
Okay.
I agree with you with fixed camera. Fixed cameras generally I don't think have that much of a place in AAA games nowadays. In indie games, there are some great fixed camera
Oh,
angle games.
100%, yeah.
I can't remember the one I just played or recently played. Signalis. Signalis was a fantastic fixed camera game. The same with what is it called? Tormented Souls. Tormented Souls as well is also a great fixed camera angle game. And indies can do it really well. Triple A, as you said, if you're paying 60 quid for a brand new AAA game, I think I would also be disappointed if it was fixed camera. So the switching from fixed camera to third person, like the remakes, like the Resident Evil remakes, I think is fine. But Silent Hill, in and of itself, is a game pretty much about the psychological aspect of the character and the world bringing those psychological effects into existence, right? So, I mean, Silent Hill 2 specifically, obviously not all the Silent Hills, just Silent Hill 2 that they're remaking. It allows for really grotesque monster designs, which also makes sense. And I don't think that everything in Silent Hill 2 was perfectly planned out. I think a lot of the stuff that people praise Silent Hill 2 for were mistakes by the devs, right? Obviously, they did brilliantly as the devs, absolutely amazing. And Team Silent are, in my opinion, the only true people that can make a Silent Hill game, which is never going to happen anymore because I think they broke up. Or they went on to work on other companies.
Yeah.
But a lot of the things that are in Silent Hill 2 are very, how do you say it? Minor, I guess. It's a lot of minor things that add up. And it's a lot of details. It's a lot of background. It doesn't tell you the story, you know? And I think the Silent Hill 2 remake, I don't believe it's going to have that same effect. I hope it does. I truly hope it does. I truly hope I'm wrong. It's a great remake, etc. But I don't think that it's going to have that same effect. Now, as I said, going into the game, I just want to be James in Silent Hill, explore Silent Hill, look at the monsters up close, see Pyramid Head up close, and all that. I think getting that out of the game is going to be amazing. And the atmosphere and all that, amazing. The actual story behind it and like the little things and like the details and things that made Silent Hill 2 so great, I think there's going to be some missing in the remake. And them changing things, I think, is just going to make that even more so.
Okay. Go off on F. You was gonna have a talk about. Oh no, you was gonna talk about Downpour. No, was it Downpour?
Townfall.
The new one. Town Rain or whatever it was.
Yeah, Townfall.
Oh, Townfall. Yeah. You was gonna talk about that before you had to pop somewhere.
Yeah. So Townfall, I am very excited about. It's my most exciting Silent Hill project because it is made by the same developers as Observation, I believe the game's called. Yes, it's made by the same developers as Observation, which is one of my favorite space games. Basically, a small rundown of Observation is that it's you control an AI that's in a spaceship, and in the first, I think, hour of the game, you get transported to an orbit around Saturn.
Okay.
And no one knows how you got there. All you know is that the AI brought you there. You yourself, the AI that you are playing, hook you to Saturn. Now, how that happened, no one knows. That's what you figure out throughout the whole game. But it is a extremely interesting game, and I love how it plays out. I love all of the story. I like the ending. I'm not going to say I love the ending. I like the ending. And it was a very interesting game. And it was obviously a very story focused game. There was basically no gameplay. All of the gameplay was just going around the ship in your little sphere and doing puzzles every so often.
Okay.
That was pretty much it. It was all story based game. And I think a Silent Hill game in that way is extremely interesting. And obviously they've shown that they can do it. They've shown that they can make a good story. They can make it not boring. And so that is probably my most exciting Silent Hill announcement that was out of that bunch, out of all the movies and games and stuff. Townfall is my favorite.
Okay. That makes sense. What do you think of F then? The trailer,
F,
mainly.
it looks very interesting.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, of it being in rural Japan.
Yeah.
Very interesting setting. I'll see what they do with it. I wouldn't say I'm a doomer, you know. I'm not gonna say, oh, this game looks bad. I'm not gonna see it. I just want to see what they do with it. I just want to see how it progresses Silent Hill. And I think what a lot of the Western games fell flat on was that they didn't fully understand Silent Hill. They looked at Silent Hill 2 and they saw that it was a very psychological game. Then they looked at Silent Hill 1 and 3 and then they saw it was a game about a cult. So then they merged the two together, and in Silent Hill Homecoming they have the cult aspect, and they have the aspect of a cult having to do sacrifices and all that stuff for this old god. But it also had psychological horror with it. It was like intertwined with it, and a lot of the monsters and stuff were also to do with the character's psyche, and it's a clash that I don't think pays off very well in Homecoming, which is why it's like one of the least played Silent Hill, one of these liked Silent Hill games. And same to a certain extent with Downpour. That it misses the mark on what Silent Hill is. So I hope that in Silent Hill F and in Silent Hill Townfall, I hope they find that mark. I hope they find what made Silent Hill so great, and do that. You know, instead of trying to intertwine what all the other games did together. Just you can have the two of them. You can have the cult and you can have the psychological horror. You can. It just needs to be done well.
Yeah, I get that.
And in Homecoming and in Downpour, I just don't think it was done well.
Do you think any of these will impact the franchise as well as 2 did original? Do you reckon any of these could revive it and make it like as grand as 2's made the franchise? Because I'd say, like, from someone who hasn't played the games, I know 2's. Everyone thinks it's a masterpiece. People talk about it, sing its praises for years and years and years. Do you reckon any of these could be the new 2? Any of them?
No. No way. Not just for the pure fact of the game not being good. I think the game will be good, or at least one of them will be good. Whether that be Townfall, whether that be F, whether that be the remake, one of them I think is going to be good. My bets are on Townfall, but you know, we'll have to see when that comes out. But to say that it's going to have as big of an impact as 2 did, as a regional OG2, there's just no way. The culture is not there. What made Silent Hill 2 so impactful was not knowing about it. Was people would go into their local game store They would find Silent Hill 2. They would look at the box. They would see, oh, it's about a man who's like trying to chase his wife. It says on the back of it. I think I have an OG2 box that I collected because I love Silent Hill so much. But yeah, it says on the back that like it's a man trying to find his wife and things like that. They would take it home. They would play it like in a dark room on their CRT or I don't think CRTs were that much common in 2001, but on their old TVs, and they would get into the game. It was all foggy. It was all like scary, and especially for people that played Silent Hill 1 back on the PlayStation 1, for those people, it was also a misdirection. Because in Silent Hill 1, it was all about the cult. It was all about, like, I can't remember her name, but the chick that was trying to birth the god and all that. And then in Silent Hill 2, there is no mention of the cult. You can go the entire game, and it's like, well, is it the cult doing this? Or is it, like, is the cult pulling the strings on what James is doing? Or, like, you can guess throughout the whole game. And for the people that didn't play 1, it was just a creepy, very atmospheric game of the city, the fog, the creatures that they don't understand. It was just a creepy game in general for 2001, and like the graphics were great for 2001, So that impact, how gaming is nowadays, how it's bringing out horror games in the dozens, how psychological horror is not that hard to come by, how to be honest, how gaming has just become so entitled, and people just expect greatness from everything, and if one company does something wrong, they get absolutely belittled for it. Well, some of it is valid, some of it is extremely valid, don't get me wrong. But some gamers cry just to cry about some things.
I agree with that.
And I don't think in today's day and age, a hit like Silent Hill 2 could happen again.
Maybe not. Because you see, hits, like, games explode all the time. Look at Helldivers, I don't think people can say anything negative about it. Or
that is true.
Bendy and the Ink Machine, that blew up. Five Nights at Freddy's blew up. I think there's the occasional one. There's occasional, even if I don't like them, say the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, it's still now got its mark on the horror genre. It's got a huge following. In fact, it might dwarf a lot of franchises now. And I think hits can still happen. Massive games from nowhere can still happen. Lethal Company's another one. Horror game blew up. But I see what you mean with when it's like a big name. A new, like, none of those I just listed were like previous existing franchises. Whilst if they release a new, what's a dormant franchise at the moment? Alien Isolation. If they do a new one, people will either be all for it, it'll be split. There'll be people crying, people loving it. It's everywhere because it's a well-known franchise. It's a beloved franchise. So yeah, I do get what you're saying, but I'll disagree with it as well at the same time.
I should rephrase that. I don't think that Silent Hill 2 is going to make that big of an impact, but games can have a big impact. I just don't think they're going to have an impact on the genre, shall I say. Because, as you said, games are coming out like Helldivers and like Pal World was
that's big, yeah.
And BattleBit as well. That was like the Roblox one. And those do come out, and yeah, they are brand new. They're apart from Helldivers 2, but I don't think a lot of people knew or played Helldivers 1 that are playing Helldivers 2. So for them, it's new. But to me, those success stories are different to Silent Hill 2's success story. Because Silent Hill 2's, I feel like it was more of an impact on the players and the genre as a whole than just a lot of people played it. Which that's kind of what it feels like now, where if there's a game that catches on like Helldivers, it's just a lot of people playing it, but then it can drop off, you know? Like, I mean, Helldivers hasn't dropped off yet, and I hope it doesn't. I love Helldivers.
They're updating it frequently. I still haven't got it. I still intend on getting it, but they're updating it frequently. The player base doesn't seem to be dwindling.
I hope it doesn't.
The devs seem to show true passion into it.
Yeah, 100%. They are some of the most down-to-earth devs that I've seen in a long while. And yeah, Helldivers is a great game, and I love it. It's definitely made an impact. Just the success of Silent Hill 2 and the success of Helldivers 2 just feel like two completely different type of impacts to me. Now, that could be wrong, you know? I could that could just be a feeling that I have.
No, I'd say you smashed it. I think one's like you said, genre-defining thing. One changed the game, and one's just a very popular, fun to play, just a good romp. I don't think Helldivers has changed a lot. It's just really fun, and the devs have passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do agree that they have changed things differently.
I mean, if you look at Helldivers 1 and Helldivers 2, Helldivers 1 was an RTS.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Helldivers 1 was a top-down RTS. Helldivers 2, third person in the action, you know. And the success of Helldivers 2 is really important because I feel like it kind of shows that you don't need a grand story. You don't need a grand, like... You don't need a big grand game to make the game a hit. It just needs to be fun. That's all Helldivers is. It's fun. And just put like 4 people against a horde of things. Doesn't matter what they are. Doesn't matter if those 4 people are humans, if they're bugs, if they're fucking aliens. It doesn't matter. Put them against a horde of something. A horde of humans, horde of bugs, horde of aliens. Doesn't matter. If you put people against hordes of things, it's fun. It's kind of how Left 4 Dead did it.
Yeah.
Kind of how, those types of games did it. Hordes were just fun. And, I mean, Left 4 Dead is pretty old at this point.
Yep.
Going in today's technology, having that many bugs on screen at once, having that many things to kill at once, it's fun. That's all it is. Fun. And, especially going off of also the Suicide Squad game that came out recently.
Oh, yeah. I think that might be a topic for next week, actually. I do want to talk about that one.
Okay. Well, I'll just bullet point it.
Yeah.
That it had all of the success that it could. It had a AAA developer behind it. It had rememberable characters. It had like characters that you know already. You know, you have your favorite. Like, it's got Batman. It's got Joker. It's got Harley Quinn. It's got King Shark. You know, very recognizable, memorable names. It's got money. It's got like everything that you would think shows a good game, but it's just not fun to play.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem. They're putting so much effort and time and things into things that are just not fun. And that's what I think Helldiver's success shows. If something's fun, we're going to play it.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Lethal Company had the same thing. It blew up, did well. Developers stopped messing with it. People fell off, whilst Helldiver's devs, I don't think they've let up on the gas yet, have they?
I don't think so. They're bringing in APCs, they're bringing in mechs, they're bringing
Yeah.
in vehicles and stuff. Very good, very
Yeah,
good
well,
job.
it's a shame because I really like the other company, but I've done everything
Yeah,
that can be done in it, so.
I mean it's also a party game, so you
Oh,
need people.
100%, yeah.
Really.
You done with Silent Hill for now? We can loop
I
back in
think
the
I've said my
future.
piece.
Yeah, we can loop back once the game's close there with a lot more stuff.
Yeah,
Then,
yeah. I'd
oh,
love to look back when we see more about it.
yeah.
Or even if 2 comes out this year. I'm so hoping 2 Remake comes out this year. And if it does, man, am I going to have some opinions on it.
At some point, I'll play through 2, and then on one of them, I'll drop
I would
my
love
thoughts
to
on it.
watch that. I would love to watch you play it, honestly.
Um, favorite horror game, since we've really jumped into the horror section of things today.
True.
Which is it 2?
I mean, it's favorite psychological horror game.
Yeah.
Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
Favorite normal horror game. I'd probably say Alien Isolation.
Okay. Alien Isolation's obviously mine. Psychological horror is probably Overwatch 2.
All right, fair enough. Yeah.
That shit's haunting. But yeah, have you played Alien Fireteam at all?
I played a little bit of it. I
Okay.
haven't played much.
Um,
Maybe a few.
I really enjoyed its atmosphere. I enjoyed how it felt. I know it's not a very popular one, but I don't know, just xenomorphs swarming you. It's so cool.
Hmm. I mean, it kind of comes back to just
Me
put
really
hordes
liking
of things.
Yeah,
in it.
and a bit of progression here and there, having roles to do. But yeah,
Mhm.
why is Alien Isolation your favourite normal horror?
So I do have problems with the game. It's too long, in my opinion. It kind of overstays its welcome a little bit, but the content that's in the game, I think, can surface from itself. One of my favorite things about it is a extremely big build up. So I mean that also can contend to why it's so long, but you've got this one xenomorph that's chasing you throughout the whole game,
Hmm.
and then right at the end, I mean, spoilers if anyone, right at the end, it's shown that there is a nest right underneath the ship, and then you are going through their own tunnels in their home turf, like when you pull your scanner up, it's useless. It's just beep after beep.
Yeah, that's great.
It is completely useless to use the scanner because there's just too many. And so you have to navigate their own tunnels in their own home turf. Some of the jump scares that they do, which another thing about the game, it never actually jump scares you. It always puts you in a predicament to be jump scared, but if you trigger a jump scare, that's on you.
Yeah.
There isn't a cut, as far as I remember, there isn't a cut scene in the game that full on jump scares you.
There's the Working Joe ones, but you know when a Working Joe will just grab
you
you.
go up the Working Joe, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's when you go up to that. So if you get caught, but I just love that. I respect that about games. I could also talk about the Amnesia games. How Amnesia: The Dark Descent is probably my second favorite because of the atmosphere and because of the it doesn't rely on jump scares, and Amnesia Rebirth lent into jump scares a bit too much, but that's a topic for another day. Alien Isolation, it was a bit long, but I enjoyed my time through the entirety of the game. And I just think it was a really fun game to go through. It was terrifying. The xenomorph had really good AI for that time. I don't remember, it came out like 2013 or something, or 20, I don't know, somewhere in there.
I remember it came out to not great reviews as well. I mean, IGN shat on it. I remember that.
Really?
Alien.
I mean, I played it recently. I tend to do that. The game comes out in like 2009, and I don't play it until like 2022.
2014.
2014. Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that time, I think the AI is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is just like patrolling, like it just patrols an area. Yeah, I get it. But the AI, the just a horror aspect of him following you the whole time, having him be on the scanner. Like, even when he's in the vents, he's on the scanner. You can always see where he is. You can hear when he comes out the event. He's got very distinct noises. You can hear when he goes into the vent. And just the hiding as well, like having to hide from him. And when you go into a locker, when he's close, he'll like go in front of the locker just to scare you a little more. It was just a great horror game. I think it was just a good horror game in general.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favourites. Just like I said, the Alien franchise is, I would say perfect, but it's 8% dog shit. But it's still one of my favourites.
Mm-hmm.
But what about Resi 7? I thought that would have been a shout for you.
Resi 7, it is one of my favourites. It's top 5 at least.
Yeah.
Like, putting all of my favourite horror games right now is going to be tough. You'll have to give me like a day.
Yeah,
but
I get that.
Resi 7 is definitely top 5. The reason that I say that Resi 7 isn't higher than Silent Hill or Alien is because it's not really like truly scary like those games are. Jack Baker and like the stalker enemies in general in Resident Evil, they're pretty predictable.
Yeah.
You can loop them, you can get away from them,
just
can
run
shoot them. It's not truly scary in my opinion.
Okay.
Now, there are obviously scary bits to it, and having especially in RE2, having Mr. X's footsteps just always around you, that's terrifying. But like compared to Alien or Silent Hill, it's not, it's not really that close to me.
I found Marguerite terrifying. She was disgusting.
I did not like her bugs.
No.
I'm neurotophobic, so
okay. Well, there you go.
That was fun.
So that's that, and final one, I think. Here's the final bit. What's 3 games you're looking forward to this year?
Silent Hill 2 remake.
Okay.
If that comes out. Apart from that, Space Marine 2 for Warhammer.
Okay.
I'm pretty looking forward to that. And the third one, probably the Elden Ring DLC. I know that's not like a standalone game,
Yeah,
but the Elden Ring DLC, yeah, come on, it's Elden Ring.
Yeah, it counts. Yeah, fair enough. Mine are Frostpunk 2. Love the first. Have you played first Frostpunk?
I have seen it. I haven't played it, but I've seen it.
I highly suggest that. If you're like a stressful city builder where it just puts you fucking min-max to its test, and you have to be on top of everything constantly. Thinking. Love that game. Can't wait for the second one. RimWorld is what's the expansion called? Anomaly, a horror-based, which goes with the theme, I guess. A horror-based expansion for RimWorld with like otherworldly creatures called like flesh beasts, and you've got to go to the flesh mass heart and all this. And there's like a plague coming out and taking over. It looks great. You got to go to the pit gate, which just all of it's just so over the top and amazing. And I don't think another game's really got my attention this year, unless I'm missing something.
This year's, I think it's a little slow. I mean, it's still good, but I think it's a little slow compared to 2023.
Yeah, 2023 was my favourite year for gaming in a long while. Marvel Rivals, I'm interested in that.
Oh, true, yeah, Marvel Rivals. I'll be so very, very excited when that comes out.
2XKR.
You mean Project L?
No, 2XKR. Everyone's favourite.
No, you mean Project L.
That's kind of it. There's not really much here at the moment. I'm probably forgetting some stuff.
I feel like I'm forgetting a few things as well.
I was excited for Ain't No Rest, and I saw gameplay for it. I'm like, maybe not. Um, Pony Island 2, maybe this year.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I'm excited for that one too as well.
the Brother remake. Is it Brother Two Tales?
Oh yeah, A Tale About Two Brothers or something.
Yeah, that's getting a remake.
Very nice.
Other than that, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I know a lot of my time will be going into playing old games and um, yeah, there's a new Bendy and the Ink Machine game coming out called Bendy the Cage.
I still need to play Bendy the Dark Revival.
I haven't played that either, but the Cage looks good enough. It looks more Bender.
That's good. Just need more Bendy.
And that's about it, really. Unless I see something, and I'll call it out soon. But yeah, that's me done. You got anything to add? Oh, Arc 2. That comes out this year.
I mean, if it's more Ark, sure. But
Yeah, if it's better Arc, sure.
what they did with the original Ark, where you just had to rebuy it again.
Oh
and it
yeah, that was
still
disgusting.
a janky mess.
Disgusting. Yeah, that's pretty much me done. Yeah.
I pretty much said what I think. Yes, Space Marine 2, Silent Hill 2 remake, and Elden Ring DLC. Oh, casting of Frank Stone. I don't know when that is.
That's what I was meant to mention earlier. Fuck.
I'm a big fan of Supermassive and their Until Dawn type games. I can't remember what the trilogy's called. But having that in the Dead by Daylight universe, fantastic. I'll definitely be excited about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Wolf Among Us 2, which was meant to come out, but God knows.
Wasn't that supposed to come out like 2 years ago?
Yep. Still not here. That's a topic I really want to talk about as well. Telltale games.
Telltale, yeah, I'd love to talk about that too.
But for now, I think that's the first one done, right?
How long have we been going for?
That is an hour and a half.
An hour and a half? Alright, that's...
Unless you got anything you want to
add? I don't think so.
No? Cool. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.